G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel. What I want to show you today is this very tall, I think it's some sort of privet that I collected from the street. I've done a previous video on this tree about how I found it on the street. Someone threw it out and I found it and I picked it up and brought it in and I've repotted it. I don't want to change the camera angle too much because it's actually very tall, but I'll just do that. You can see, there you go, there's the pot. I repotted it in just to get it going, and that's the top of the tree. Really, I just want to talk about the top of the tree and what I'm thinking of doing with it. Now, because it's a broadleaf evergreen, you don't want to style these trees as a mountain spruce growing in the high mountains, and when branches going down, it doesn't make sense because it's not a spruce, it's not a pine, it's not a juniper. It doesn't go down like this, down. It doesn't do that. So that's the first thing people maybe want to think about doing with these kind of trees when they're tall. What you really want to do is try and style it as a broadleaf evergreen or a broadleaf tree, a deciduous kind of looking tree, where it's more full of foliage, the growth is more upwards like that. But you've got to also think of creativity and design and style and what we can come up with. So it's a bit of a project tree, this one, to be honest. I don't know exactly what I'm trying to do or what I want to do. I'll still have some branches coming down and then back up, just to give me the lower branches some length. But it's also just about, I think there's some nice two tops here, two trunks. I don't want to cut one of them off. I want to keep them all. I mean, that's how broadleaf evergreens grow anyway. You have multiple trunks, but let's show off some of the other trunks and maybe we'll wire that kind of down, try to make a fuller canopy, and use this as well to enhance that and make it a full canopy. They might just have to come down a little bit and wire out all the branching. I don't know if you guys can see maybe something like that. Just to create a fuller canopy. We could also go totally different and do literati, minimize the foliage on this tree and just have very little bit of growth. I mean, that's one idea I was thinking about. But then it's probably have to eliminate one of those trunks. I mean, this one's a nicer trunk, so maybe we keep this one. It's got more foliage, and we could do a literati on that, and that's another possibility too. So I'm in two minds whether I keep everything and style it into a full deciduous tree, or I make a very nice interesting literati maybe from this trunk, and I'm leaning towards that way because it keeps with the evergreen feel and look. However, it gives you some more interest and less of a full canopy, but I'll still style it in a nice broadleaf kind of way. If I keep both and do the full evergreen, another nice tree, but I don't know, it's always going to be, it doesn't tell the story. So it's got a very tall trunk, and why has it got this big fluff of foliage at the top? That's where my only issue is. I mean, you could air layer, or maybe that will work, I'm not sure, but I don't think I want to air layer this. I think it's either going to be literati or a full deciduous kind of canopy. So that's the planning today, and that's what I'm thinking about doing. I just want to make sure, I showed you a previous video of a little pyracantha dancing around in this tree, so I just want to make sure I avoid knocking him around. Just keep him on the tree and keep him healthy. But yeah, I'm in two minds today about what I want to do. So I'm going to have a quick look at this tree a bit more and see what I can think of and see how I can come up with a design, and I'll come back to you guys. Alright, so I've had a closer look at the tree. I am actually contemplating keeping both and going for a broadleaf type of look and fuller tree. I just was trying to figure out if I eliminate this and try to do a letter just with this, it's going to be a bit contrived at the moment unless I find something else whilst I work on the tree. It will look a bit more contrived in the sense that it will have to be heavily wired to get into that position, and when you heavily wire a deciduous, I don't know if you find that it never is a convincing piece of material. I want to try and go with the natural flow of the tree. Let's see what I can do into creating a nicer canopy. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe it will lend itself to literati eventually, but at the moment I'm going to try and keep both trunks. stacks of wire in this tree, and see if I can bend some of the trunks into place, and so on. So I might do. I've done a bit of a cleanup, trimmed off some of the dead bits, but yeah, I'm just going to work my way from the bottom up and see what I can come up with. Some heavy wire on the main trunks, pretty much, and then wire out some of the main branching. I want to have a bit of a sparse looking tree. I don't want to have it too full of a canopy tree, so I don't want a huge foliage mass. So that's what I want to try and avoid, and we'll see what we come up with. I want a bit more free flowing tree with less of that big heaviness. So we'll see what I can come up with. Nothing too major to report. It's on the base. The reason I chose this is the base has this nice bit of deadwood. Oh, I can't show you that now. I don't want to move the camera, but it's got a nice bit of deadwood. The other side also looks good, but all the foliage comes away from the view. I don't want to reposition it. Just wanted to try and use this position of the tree and see what design we can come up with. So let's get stuck into it, and I'll probably just put a time lapse because the amount of wiring I have to do is quite a lot. And we'll see. I don't want you guys to be bored, so we'll just do a time lapse how I'll go about doing it. Okay. Alright everyone, so what I've done is I did try and video and then my battery died, so you might have missed some of the time lapse of me wiring, but it's just me wiring. So what I've done is pretty much wired the whole tree. Everything's wired up. Now I want to go about trying to set some of the branches in position and just trying to see what it looks like. You can see all the heavy wire on all these branches. Everything's wired, even the sub branches. Tried to wire as many of them as I can. Probably missed a couple. We'll see how we go if we need those. Yeah, so we'll see what we do. Some of the lower ones I tried to set already, just to show you. So, for example, this one I've tried to go up a little bit and then come down and then come back up. Just how a deciduous kind of looks. So we're just going to start tweaking some of these branches, and I'm just going to play around with the look of it. The top is probably my biggest issue. It's got a lot of heavy branches, but how do we deal with that and bring it into position and not make it look like a pine? So that's what I'm going to work on now. It's hard to, I need to get to an eye level where I can look at it, so it's a bit hard to, I might have to do a bit of squatting, and sitting in a chair is just too low. So let's just try and figure out a best way to view this tree. Alright, so let's start here. So I'm still thinking the front's in there. Probably you're probably got it right there. So when I'm trying to wire this branch, for example, wire it up first, and then I bring it back down, and then I bring this bit down, and then I tweak these base ones upwards. I still put movement in them, so they're nice and zigzaggy, but I just try and pull those up a bit. Same with this. So because it's such a tall tree, I have to kind of stand back and look at it. That isn't too bad. I think it's a little long. So this is a short one here. Now I'm just trying to leave this to give it a bit more of a, so if you go up a tree, a very tall tree, some of the lower branches are smaller, and then it comes out a bit, and then it forms a big canopy. So sometimes it's a big one here. I'm going to leave this, see what happens. Such a healthy branch, I don't want to lose that yet. So this one at the back, so you can see going up a little bit. So it's going down and then up a little bit. So I don't want them to go down like this. I want them to go down and then up. So around here, I want to try and hide these trunks a bit. So I'm thinking of putting some of these branches in here to block that out a little. Again, same movement. Try and go down and then up, back up. So these just need to fill out. Oh, I could wire. We're going to need a bit of wire on that. Just let me have a look first. Sometimes you miss the wire on some of the branches, so just go back quickly, put a bit of extra wire on. Better. Tilt it up, down and up. This guy is interesting. It's like I'm going to put it in here, down and up. So I'll play with that one later. This is looking good. Down and up. Now this is starting to get into the apex area, or that first one on this side. I don't want to pull it down too much, so it's kind of flowing in this direction. Let's get some of these branches up. So this is starting to go a bit more. It's a little horizontal, but it's starting to go upwards more. Can you see that? It's starting to go. It's trying to get upwards. Trying to go upwards. These are more upwards. You can see how nice upward. Now let's get to the apex. There's a nice back branch here. It's a very heavy. I mean, it's a very long one. I want to kind of shorten that. Try and make it a bit of a trunk at the back. So you see how. So it's at the back, trying to make another trunk, so it's going zigzagging up all the way. Alright, now let's play around with this apex, see what it looks like. Yeah, it's a bit tricky, this one. This branch is a bit tricky to deal with. I think the back one's not too bad. So a lot of the branches are moving in a nice... This is a bit interesting. I'm trying to think, should I bring it down and just create an... Maybe put it in this position for now. That's problematic, this branch here. Can't seem to put it in the right spot. Does it go back? Or does it come forward more? Does the whole tree come forward more? Maybe that's the option. I think there's a back branch here that's annoying me, so I might put it in. That might help. Anyway, well, let's this is a problem branch. I'll see what I can do with that. Maybe it needs to be in here a bit more, maybe. Create a taller tree. The apex sits in here. These are starting to go upwards. Let me think about that one. Let's work on this side now. There's a nice branch here. You can see this branch here. That's actually quite nicely positioned. It's going upwards, and all the branches are going in that direction. So that's looking nice over there. Kind of in the back area. This is good, this is good, this is good. Now let's deal with this section. So this is the apex that will match that one, I think. Let me have a look at this. Bit tricky that. I'm trying to play around with creating one tree over here, one tree over here, but the whole silhouette is trying to form a full silhouette. So it isn't too bad. Maybe just bring it forward. So the branches don't belt. I'm going to have a look back with the camera to see what kind of, how it's kind of looking. Just adjusting. So it isn't too bad. Just probably need to clean up a few branches, clean up a few lines. This is not too bad in there now. I think it's just too full. So I'm just going to try and thin it out a little. I like this. This is looking nice up here. This isn't too bad. It was a bit too flat for me, but I'm going to try and work on this. Trying to fix the flatness of it. But I really like this apex bit. It's going in the right direction. All this is going right. This is nicely in the right direction. This is coming along nicely. Maybe just trim that back a little. There's a bit of a gap in here, which I was hoping I can get that in there, but it's be too flat then. Maybe bring him round. I think I'll just leave that. I think it's just in time that will fill out. I'll put that in there. There's a lot of little sub branches in here which are good. They're growing on for the future. So I'm just going to leave them. A couple of little small sub branches in there. Coming off that. So that will fill out nicely in there. I'm just going to look at this part of the tree. This part of the tree is bothering me. So let me just have a quick squeeze and figure out what is wrong. Could be it's too long. Some of this is a bit too leggy. I have a feeling this is a bit heavy, and that's why there's too much branches up here. So I'm going to reduce some of these. Maybe that fixes the problem. Yeah, it's a bit better. I think that's probably what it is. I don't know. I think there's a nice start of a tree there. A nice start. So I'm just going to try and move the camera around. The sun's coming out a bit too much, but probably see the two trees. Probably can think about reducing this tree a little bit more as well in the future. But I like now how. So I'll just take the camera and I'll show you the base. So if you go all the way to the base, it's not too bad looking. It actually looks alright. Yeah, just got to tweak the top. The top's always the hardest without removing too much. And trying to keep the deciduous look. It is a little tricky. Let me set that camera back. And I do like the fact that this tree's a bit taller and this tree's a bit smaller. It actually looks alright. I think my problem is in here. We'll work on this. Yeah. This apex looking good. Anyway, I don't know. I think it's all right. Come up okay for a first go. Kind of interesting tree. It gives it a bit more interest. Like it's a kind of a funky looking deciduous kind of tree. So yeah, I'll just continue to tweak it a little bit. But I think overall it isn't too bad. It's an interesting tree. Very styled in a deciduous looking way. Only the base ones are kind of going down and then coming back up, where everything else is trying to go upwards. So I hope you can feel that and see that. Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, that's a very long video I think today. But at least it gives you an idea of the tree that I collected from the street that was thrown out. I can actually do something, looked after for 6 months to get it healthy and in the pot, and then just did a bit of a wiring on it. Well, a bit more than a bit, but you kind of see what I'm getting at. So let's see how this tree develops and continues to grow, hopefully, and we'll hopefully have a nice tree to look at in the future. Anyway, love all your comments, so keep commenting away. Happy for any thoughts on this tree as well. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so, and like the videos if you can. Thanks guys, see you next time.